Thank you for your time. The questions I'm going to ask you were formed by a group of Chicago teens who are interested in addressing and starting a dialogue about topics most important to our peers, neighborhood, community, Chicago, and Exeter. We are still in the process of gathering feedback and data related to some of our questionnaire topics, and your answers and opinions are very important parts of this process. At the end of the survey, please give us feedback on how to improve this process for future interviews and suggest questions that you would like us to ask the community. What is your name?
My name is Kayla.
What is your relationship to me?
You're my friend.
Okay, have you been interviewed for this project yet?
Yes. No.
Okay, where are you from?
I'm from Chicago.
Which neighborhood?
Washington Park.
How long have you lived in Chicago?
All my life. I was born here.
What role do you play in your community?
I would call myself a youth leader. I've done a lot of work in the community with an organization as a youth leader.
So when you hear the word community, what do you think of? What do you think a community is?
See, there's different types of communities. Like you have like a sports community, but then you have like maybe you have the LGBTQ community, and I feel like a community is just something that brings each other together based on like similarities.
Okay, so everyone plays a role in their community, even if it's small. Do you think a lot of people play that role in their community?
Yeah.
Okay. And you say yeah, what do you mean? Like, what are you thinking of when you say yeah?
Like, even when I think of like small roles in the community, it could be like in your neighborhood.
Like what?
Like when you're in your neighborhood, when you walk out and you see a piece of trash on the floor, you can like pick up the trash and throw it away. That's you playing a role in your community, like to make it better.
Okay. How have you been impacted by your community?
Knowing the community that I live in and like the things that happen, just being aware of it makes me want to like do something about it, and it makes me look at it and think like, man, this has to change, and it makes me want to play an active role.
How do you think your life would be different if you lived in a different city or town?
I feel like if I lived in a different city or town, I wouldn't be exposed to some of the things that do happen in Chicago, and like become aware of it. And I feel like I would learn it a different way than I've learned it, like living here and experiencing it.
And what are you talking about when you say some of these experiences? Can you give examples?
Like certain topics and stuff, like violence in Chicago. Like sometimes I could be like in the house and you hear gunshots outside, and it's like, man, they're shooting, and then like I learned like what to do when they are shooting, and I feel like if I lived somewhere else, I wouldn't know that like if they're shooting, just get on the ground, you know. Like that sounds so bad.
It's
like,
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. And what place are you thinking of when you say like a different place if you lived in it?
Probably somewhere in the suburbs.
Okay. If you could change anything about your community, what would it be?
I want to make it less violent and more like kid friendly. Like not even kid friendly, but also like in each community, I feel like there should be something that kids can be able to do. Like if they want to go outside and like go to like a community center for like children to like play and stuff like that.
So you think children can't be able to go outside right now?
Yeah, I feel like we lack a lot of resources in certain like areas and stuff, like playgrounds, like nice playgrounds and safe playgrounds and stuff like that. So a lot of kids spend time in the house, and it's kind of like unhealthy.
So how would it be different if they like were able to go outside and play and have fun?
I feel like kids would be more healthier and they'll be more interactive with other kids. Cause I know like in my neighborhood, like we don't have like parks. I mean we do, but they're not like good parks. They're kind of like worn down and stuff like that. So we don't have like nice parks for my sisters and them to go to. So they're just in the house all day watching TV, which is kind of bad.
So it will help them be a better individual in general.
Mm.
Okay. How do you think your community is viewed by others?
Oh, I don't think my community, like, whenever I get dropped off, they be like, oh, you live here? Oh, it's dangerous over here. You have gangbangers over here, da 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 da. So I feel like they view my community as a bad community, like somewhere they don't want to be.
So why do you think they view your community as a bad place to be?
Because most of the things they say are true. Like, there is a gang that's over there. And they're always shooting. Like I said, I hear gunshots outside all the time.
So do you think that the view people have is wrong or unfair, or you think it's actually true? So
I feel like it's kind of justified, but it's not. People make it seem like the things happen often, and it doesn't happen that often. Like, there's rarely a time where I hear shooting.
So why do you think that they think it happens not, well, as often as it does, even though it doesn't?
I don't know.
So they just assume.
Yeah.
So all cities have to deal with violence. How does the issue of violence in Chicago compare to that of other major cities?
I'm not too sure if Chicago is as violent as the media portrays it, because living in Chicago, we hear Chicago news. So it's like, if we didn't live in Chicago, like we live in another state, then we hear all about that state and what goes on there. So I'm thinking maybe it's as violent in other cities, or maybe it's not. I wouldn't know for sure, because I don't know in Chicago.
Okay, what are top 3 issues or concerns that you would like to start a dialogue about with your community?
I feel like a lot of people in my community aren't aware of change. You know, that you can change. You know, it's never too late to change. Opportunities for younger people, opportunities for the youth, and money. How to earn money.
So when you say opportunity for you, do you mean like black people specifically?
Well, in my community, there's only black people, so.
How do you know?
Well, I don't know, but
It's a lot of black people.
Yeah, what I see is black people, yeah.
Okay, if you were in charge of the media, what would you show?
In terms of what?
Just anything that goes on in your community or in Chicago, what would you show? Because you were saying how we see Chicago in Chicago news, so what would you show?
My community, I wouldn't want everyone to have like a bad idea of my community, because I don't think it's that bad because there's violence, but then again, it's not like, oh, there's violence here and it's only violence here. Like, it's violent because of certain people. So it's like anywhere you go, if a person who's violent goes there, it's going to be violent. So I feel like it shouldn't just be, oh, this is a violent neighborhood. Like, because we also have good stuff too. We have a community garden over there, so I feel like we should broadcast that. And yeah.
So do you know who like created the community garden?
Yeah, this organization called Asada's Daughters. Asada's Daughters, yeah.
So do you think you could reach out to that organization to help you provide the resources that you say you needed in your community?
It's a non-for-profit organization, so I don't really know if they, you know, I feel like they would have to go through like this whole process to raise funds for that and have the like parties and stuff put into there. So I don't think they have enough money. I don't think it'd be that effective. They would have to like partner with other groups and companies and stuff to get that done.
You should try it anyway.
Okay.
What would you do to change the perception of how people view you and your community?
I would like. I feel like everyone in my community is so like distant from each other. Like, no one knows the neighborhood, and I feel like maybe we should have like a community block party or something so we all get to know each other. Cause I feel like we all have this like preconceived notion, like, oh, that person sucks, like just because we all live in this neighborhood. So I feel like maybe if we got together and had a conversation and got to know each other, we wouldn't think it was so bad, and other people wouldn't think it's so bad.
Don't you think they might not associate with other people because of the violence that you speak of? Maybe they're scared?
No, I haven't thought about that.
Okay. How do you see Chicago in the future?
I don't know. I have a feeling that maybe like a lot of gentrification happens in Chicago, so maybe like a lot of like minority people will get pushed out of Chicago and it'll become like this predominantly white city.
How long do you think that would take?
It's 30 years maybe.
So do you think that can be prevented?
I'm not sure. Can you prevent gentrification?
Yeah.
I mean, but like how?
You can prevent it because like people might think people might want to gentrify it because they might think black people are not doing anything, so I should push you out because you're not doing anything. So if black people actually do something, you can't push me out because I actually have the resources to provide or to pay for whatever that's in my community. So that can help prevent gentrification.
Remember eminent domain though?
What's
when
that?
the government gets to buy your property and compensate you for it.
But then it's like, would that really happen? Like,
I mean,
why would they buy your property? They'll really buy everything in Chicago, and what would they use it for?
To build like.
It's already houses.
No, to build like stores and stuff.
It's already stores.
They're greedy. Like I don't know. Like anyway.
Cool. Is it important for us to keep an ongoing dialogue of the most important issues facing our community?
Yeah, I think it's important because if we don't talk about it, eventually people forget about it and it disappears and it becomes unimportant.
Okay, are there any other questions you would like for me to ask that I didn't ask?
No.
Do you have any questions that you think I should ask other people I interview?
How do they view their community? Did you ask that?
How do you view your community?
Oh.
I didn't ask that. How do you view your community?
I don't know. Like when it's whatever. I feel like, yeah, I hear gunshots, but I'm not scared to walk in my neighborhood by myself.
So you view your community as any regular place that has violence? Or just any regular place?
Yeah, just any regular place, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank
you
you
for your feedback.